I'm Sue Thompson, Senior Publisher at GL. I'm responsible for Progress Test in English. We've created these support videos to help you get the most from our assessments. In this module, we'll focus on providing you with guidance for the efficient and effective administration of the assessment. Administration of Progress Test in English differs for digital and paper customers. This module covers both. If you're a digital customer, you'll have a TestWise login, a digital test administration guide, and test allocation for each student. Customers using paper tests will be provided with a booklet for each student, a batch header sheet, and the at-a-glance guide that summarises all of the administration information that is needed. We recommend that you familiarise yourself with these guides before administering the test. The Digital Administration Guide and the At-a-Glance Guide contain everything you need to administer the test. There is a short introduction followed by word-for-word guidance on how to administer every part of the test. Sticking to this guidance will help to ensure that the results will be reliable. For digital customers, student information will need to be input into the TestWise system. Students simply need to log in to TestWise and click on their name to start the test. If you need help with this, please see the how-to videos within TestWise. Before you administer the test to students, we would recommend familiarising yourself with the login process. Each student will need headphones to complete the assessment. For paper-based customers, every student needs their own booklet which has space for them to write the date of the test, their name, class name, and the date of birth. You may choose to fill this in for younger students in advance of the test. These are very important pieces of information that identify the student and their group. The best way to prepare for the test session is by reading the Digital Administration Guide or the At-a-Glance Guide and becoming familiar with the test content. They will guide you on how to administer the test and ensure that the test environment is suitable. You also need to make sure the students are comfortable, that they can't copy each other, and that there are no disturbances. When timetabling for the test, you may wish to allow for a little settling time prior to starting. Each level of the progress test in English can be split into 2 sessions. From level 8 and above, this can divide very neatly into the following English skills sections. Firstly, spelling, grammar and punctuation, and secondly, the reading comprehension section. The digital test is in 2 sections and each section must be completed in full. If the test is paused or stopped, the student will need to start the test again. The tests are not timed. For digital tests, the audio is included in the test. For paper tests, the administrator reads the instructions aloud from the At-a-Glance Guide. We do offer a suggested timing, but it's down to the teacher to decide if the time allocated has given all students the best chance of completing the test. With paper-based testing, for younger students, where the questions are being read out by you, we would recommend setting up small groups. Use your judgment to decide when the students within the group have had enough time to demonstrate what they can do. This table shows the test level to choose for your students. You select a different level if testing between August and December rather than between January and June. In the following sections, we will see how the tests are structured at different levels. We'll start with younger students through to older students and then explore your role in administering these tests. Please refer to the Digital Administration Guide or the At-a-Glance Guide to familiarise yourself with each test before administration. The content of each level varies and is tailored to the ages of the students. Level 5 includes some phonics questions and just a single reading comprehension passage. The whole passage is read to the students and they listen while you read. You then reread in chunks before the question is read to the students. The question and the text that includes the possible answers to the question are on the same page. This makes it easier for the students to locate the correct answer. The students at level 5 read the answer options. From level 8 and above, there's a slight change in the structure of each test. Students will read 2 reading comprehension passages. These passages are linked thematically and have separate questions. One is a narrative piece and the other is a non-narrative piece. From this level upwards, students read the passage, questions and the answer options independently. As with level 8 and above, from level 11T to 14, the students read 2 passages that are linked thematically, narrative and non-narrative. 11T is a new transition test specifically designed for use at the beginning of the secondary years, which provides an accurate baseline from which progress can be monitored. There is, however, a further change in structure in the secondary tests. From level 11T upwards, the spelling test is the same as the lower levels. However, the grammar and punctuation from 11T and above is tested through 2 passages of proofreading. For all test levels, it is important to ensure that physical test conditions enable all students to perform at their best. The room needs to be as comfortable as possible for students to take the test. The students need to be told that they must work independently and record their own answers without speaking to fellow students. For paper tests, all students should be sitting close enough to the teacher so that they can hear the instructions and give them their full attention. If testing on paper, the tests for the younger students should ideally be done in small groups, perhaps 8 or 10 students at a time. It is also important that if the test is being administered in 2 sessions, the booklets are collected at the end of the first session and are handed back to the correct students for the second session. Finally, the test session must not be interrupted, so you may choose to put a notice on the door to say that testing is in progress to prevent disturbance. In this next section, we will look at what you need to do after testing. Firstly, for digital customers, please ensure all students have completed all parts of the test. You can monitor this through your TestWise account. Once this has happened, you can generate reports. We will look at reports in later modules. There are some important things to do after completing the paper test. At the end of the final session, the booklet should be collected and 1 batch header sheet should be completed for each level. The batch header sheet is provided with every order and is also downloadable from the GL Assessment website. One of these needs to be completed for every level of test returned for scoring. There are detailed instructions on the batch header sheet about how to fill this in and where to send the booklets. You must also complete a data file containing information about students whose booklets are to be scored. Scoring will be completed and reports made available no later than 15 working days from the receipt of your booklets and completed data file. Reports can be downloaded from our TestWise reporting system. This is a separate system from the digital system. You'll be contacted about login details for both systems. The results are available to you for 6 months or until the end of the academic year, whichever is the longest time. So, make sure you download and save them to your own network or computer so that you have the reports stored for longer-term reference.